Hi, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about The Scapegracers by Hannah Abigail Clarke. This was not one of my favorite books that I've read this year. In fact, I did not finish this book. And let me tell you, it's very rare that I put a book in my do not read pile. In fact, I think this is the second book I've put in my do not read pile because it was that bad. I don't think you've heard me give a bad review yet. Well, you are about to. I think I hated everything about this book. And that's really sad because I love the description. You've got this outcast teenage lesbian who finds her coven hidden amongst the popular girls in her school and performs some seriously badass magic in the process. That's the blurb from Edelweiss, abovethetreeline.com, which is where I got a copy of this book, and it was terrible. I hated this book so much. I'm sorry, I can't get over it. It's just bad, and you know what? I usually make an effort to always read every book, even if I don't like it, because I try to be positive that the book is going to get better. But halfway through this book, I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I hated the dialogue. Let's start with the dialogue. The dialogue is choppy. It is cliche. It seems like it's written by someone who's 40 years old who doesn't know how teenagers talk and is one of those people who assumes this is the way teenagers talk. That's how the dialogue is. It's choppy, it's dated, it doesn't feel, realistic. It's not smooth. The writing's not fluid at all. It's just bad. And that goes for all the characters. Their dialogue is terrible. It's so cliche. It's so choppy. And like I said, so dated. I just couldn't get behind it. It's static. It's what I would call static dialogue. As for the characters, I think my biggest issue with this novel is that it is two-dimensional. Like, they are two-dimensional characters. They have absolutely no depth to them at all. And you would think there would be some sort of depth to these characters, but there really is no depth to them. Excuse me. They are two-dimensional characters. They have absolutely no personality to them at all. And you would think, she describes them in a way that she's trying to, you can see that the author is trying to give them distinct personality, the popular girls. But it's just not good. It's just not good writing. There is nothing gravitating about these characters. They come off in a two-dimensional way. The way that this main character, whose name I don't even remember and I have no desire to remember, the way she performs magic it borders on stupid, almost. I hate the way in which she conducts spells. If you want to read a good story about lesbian witches and a lesbian coven, read The Lost Coast by Amy Rose Campetta, because that book is 10 times, 20, it's just 100 times better than this hack job of a story. Yeah, you can tell I really didn't like it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I thought this was a bad story. Because you have it opening in this way. It opens with something happening with the magic. And you think this is what the story is going to be about. However, it doesn't actually, hiccuped. It doesn't actually go back to what happened in the beginning until about halfway into the story. And it introduces some male witches and this family coven. Again, their voices are choppy and static and lack personality. It's like there's a wall around all of these characters and you just can't connect to them because they sound so fake. And I hated that about the story because I really wanted to like it. After that synopsis, I really wanted to like it. But it's just not good. It's not written well. I don't know how this book was published, to be perfectly honest. And, I mean, it also lacks pacing. I mean, the pacing is, like the rest of the story, it's choppy. It fails its purpose. You know, the story is supposed to be about female unity and companionship. And there are scenes where you can see these girls sticking together, but you can't really connect to them because, again, the dialogue in those scenes, the character dynamics, the pacing, they are all choppy. They are dated. They have no relatability to them whatsoever. They are bad. This is a book I guess I can give a 1 star to. And that's pushing it. I almost want to give this book a 1/2 star, but I'll give it the full 1 star. And I feel like the author, I feel like Clarke was trying too hard to create this, idea of females sticking together that she sort of lost sight of where she started the story. I feel like if she hadn't lost sight of where she started the story with this, event that happened with the magic, maybe it could have been something good. I really do think the story needs a complete overhaul. I think the dialogue needs to be reworked. I think the pacing needs to be redone. I think the story itself just needs to focus on what it wants to tell. Like, what story does it want to tell? Does it want to tell a story about female unity, or does it want to tell a story about magic gone wrong? And if you want to tell both stories, you have to tell both stories in a way that works. Because the way this author does it is, starts off this way, focuses on female unity without even addressing what happened in the beginning at all. It doesn't address it at all until about halfway into the story, which is bad because this event in the beginning, it should be the core of the novel. It should be the core of the plot and the character dynamics, that should be the core of the characterization. You can have 2 cores, you just have to make them work together. You can't let one distract from the other one because you're like, okay, when are we going to address this incident that happened in the beginning? That was me. I'm like, okay, this is all okay, but that dialogue needs to be completely redone. These characters need to be completely redone. They lack personality. They are 2-dimensional at best. They are just names on a page, and I can't even remember any of their names. So no, I don't recommend this book. I don't recommend checking it out from the library. I feel like my time is too valuable and your time is too valuable to read The Scapegracers by Hannah Abigail Clarke. This is probably the only time I'm ever going to say a book was that bad to the point where I don't recommend it. Because usually I always recommend every book. A lot of books aren't really my favorite. Like Foul is Fair, that was another book I didn't like and couldn't connect to. That almost made it to my did not finish pile. But I still managed to finish it. If I'm able to finish a book, I will recommend it even if I don't, like it as a whole. This book I didn't like at all. I couldn't even finish it. I think, like I said before, it's not worth anyone's time. It was a waste of my time to read half the book. It's like I have other books that I want to read. I'm not going to waste my time reading something that's just bad. And that's what I have to say about this novel. It is bad. So, on that note, if you want to read a novel like this one, but written well, read The Lost Coast by Amy Rose Capetta. that book is excellent. I'm a huge fan of Amy Rose Capetta's work. So that book I would recommend. The Scapegracers by Hannah Abigail Clarke. I wish I could just wash my hands from it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So do not recommend. And that's that. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.